ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Oosh Brothers Podcast. This has been a long time coming. We had the BB Malloy show back in the day, and then that fizzled out. Arrow FM was a little bit hard to deal with, and then I tried to start up connections with BB Malloy, and it's really hard to do this by myself. And the one person I have the most banter on this planet is with my little brother. So welcome Louis as my new co-host of this brand new podcast.
What up? What is good, family? Literally family.
Literally family. But so I think what is our mission statement here, bro? Like, what are we trying to achieve with this podcast?
I think first goal is obviously world peace. I think if we, our mission statement should be just bring people together through us talking absolute nonsense for an hour every week.
Basically, what we want to do here with the Oosh Brothers podcast is just talk about the things that happened in the week that was that made us go Oosh. And that's kind of where we're at, where we're sort of like these things that have come up. There's been heaps happening this week, obviously. If things in the music scene, things in the film scene, social media, gaming, the lot, it's been pretty massive. So I think without any further ado, we're just going to dive straight into it.
I think it's for the best. I think we should just get straight into the recent week. Still in my birthday sphere. Recently 27. Yeah, it's in the realm, because the birthday sphere is the week leading up to the week of, and the week after is the birthday sphere, I'm told. So I'm still in the last few hours of celebrating my 27th birthday sphere. Yeah.
Some people go like a full month, and that's never sat well with me.
Yeah, especially for like people with birthdays that have birthdays that are at the end of the month, because, like, do you start your birthday month the next day or the month of? Because I'm like right smack bang in the middle.
Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like that's where a birthday sphere is probably more appropriate.
Yeah. So, but that's been me. 27, I get asked the older, so now you're part of the 27 club. What are you going to do? I'm like, exactly what I've been doing for the last 27 years, just much poorer. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 27 club denotes that you would die in your 27th year. So, I mean, me personally, I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Nah. I've got too much to do.
No, fair enough. Me too, man. Like, I'm just busy all the time. It's if it weren't for this massively bright light right behind my camera, you would probably see how incredibly dog tired my eyes are, which they still look pretty bad on camera too. So
yeah.
So what are we going to jump into straight off the bat? I'm thinking probably the biggest news coming out of the social media sphere at the moment is the once big
Jack
and
Black
not
is
so
Steve.
big.
Oh,
bro, the fact that the Jack Black is Steve. Oh my god, that trailer was so trash.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop. I saw an article that said now is the year that we all hate on Jack Black for taking too many movie roles. It's like, well, it's not really, I guess, his fault. Like, I would have preferred maybe someone else play Steve, probably someone with a bit more of a square head, like Will and E, for example.
That's a good shout.
But yeah, I just, I'm not going to hate on Jack Black, even though I'm still upset that they didn't come back for the second time. I'm not upset about it.
No, fair enough.
I'm not upset about it.
I feel like Jason Momoa's 80s mum haircut probably needs to be mentioned in that as well.
Yeah.
Not really sure what's going on there. I don't know enough about Minecraft lore to make any sort of judgment or assessment on this. I didn't even know there were named characters. I thought you just built stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's Steve, who's the guy that you play as, and then there's another fellow called Herobrine, which is like, it's like, what's his name? Reverse Flash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that, except Herobrine has like glowy eyes. But was it just me, or did Jason Momoa have like a lazy eye? Did you notice that?
I wasn't looking. I don't think I was looking that closely. I kind of like I was
looking at his eyes.
Situation.
So.
All right, deep into them.
Just deep into them, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to wear that pink jacket.
with him still in it. Like I want to share that pink jacket with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be so warm.
But that wasn't even the news I was alluding to. I think the biggest news coming out of YouTube is Nikocado Avocado. Like that is wild. And he's to be honest, and all power to him. I was watching Moist Critical's video on it, and the fact that he'd even like seen the video and gone back and tried to find any sort of semblance of a date or a clock or something in these 2 years worth of videos to see if the signs were there, and he couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, and this is a dude
Yeah.
who used to have beef with Nikocado Avocado as well. So
Oh yeah, for a while. Yeah.
yeah, and like Sunny V2 made a video like 2 days ago being like, you do a better Sunny V2 than I do, but
Oh yeah, it was like yeah, the whole what was it? It was like Nikocado Avocado just uploaded a new video that is what does he say? That this has been a social experiment for the last 2 years. It drags on.
But it wasn't even, so it was before that. So before Sunny V2 upload, so before Nikocado made the announcement, like he put the panda helmet on and then took it off and stuff and gave his big villain arc speech. Not really sure why the villain arc speech was there. Like people just watch him eat food. It's not like, he's not a super villain. But the Sunny V2 video did the he did the and then he's been eating on and off for 2 years. And there's always that inflection at the end where he just hangs onto it.
Yeah.
I think a couple of people tore strips off Sunny V2 recently. Like Internet Anarchist, and I think Pinely had a go at him as well for like ruining the video essay genre.
Yeah, there's been a few things like with I remember when he uploaded that video about Chris Tyson from the MrBeast crew.
Yeah.
And how that kind of happened. And then I saw some comments and it was like, oh, Sunny V2 is going to be drinking his champers because that video has aged now quite well, given what's happened to Chris Tyson. But then he just like uploaded a video that also aged terribly within a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, speaking of the Chris Tyson thing, just a quick diversion, because do you watch MrBeast, or do you still watch MrBeast, or?
I don't anymore by choice, and like as much as Chris Tyson was Chris Tyson, she is now Ava Tyson. So as much as there might be like,
oh yeah, that's my bad. Sorry,
that's some background in there. And she's obviously done some pretty horrible stuff from some first-hand accounts that I've seen uploaded to YouTube as well. Like it's I just can't bring myself to do it. He's also like the whole Dog Pack 404 thing.
That's what I wanted to hear your opinion on.
Yeah. So I feel like after watching all three of them and then watching the video with him and Weddle as well, where he interviews Jake Weddle, I've come to the conclusion that like dude is a liar and a sexual predator protector. He's been hiring people to the company that have like serious SA charges, not just like Ava Tyson, but there was another guy who was it's an African American guy who is gay and was like preying on some of the young interns and stuff. There's that whole thing, Dog Pack 404's new video about it. He's done interviews with Ludwig and answered a bunch of questions that go a little bit deeper. The one with Jake Weddle where they made him do the isolation video and then didn't pay him out the full amount. They spoke down to him and everything was really off the cuff. But I think one of the biggest things for me outside of obviously the SA stuff is like top grade. Like you can't be hiring those people. You can't be talking to those people, like having them in a multi-million-dollar company, regardless of how good they are at what they do, is still bad ethically. But rigging the competitions and rigging the merch sales as well, that was for me was like hugely dishonest, because his market is kids. Like these are kids who have gone and begged their parents for X merch or Y merch or whatever. people are going out, like myself, people were going out and buying MrBeast bars when they first hit the shelves in Countdown or Woolworths here in New Zealand. And
wait, speaking of merch, I know you mentioned Ludwig earlier. Speaking of merch, let me be right back. Oh, hang on, just wait there.
okay,
This is Ludwig's.
you got Ludwig.
He
merch.
released. Yeah, so I it was my first day of my new job, and I'd noticed he'd uploaded something to his Instagram. It's like, get this new hoodie. So I was like, bet. So I bought his hoodie. And then I've also got some CoffeeZilla merch on the way. So
anyway. That actually might go hard.
Yeah, because Logan Paul's a piece of shit. I want to help the boy CoffeeZilla against this litigation.
For sure.
Yeah.
I am, and I say that as I've got my bottles of Prime behind me as well. I'd like to point out that I bought these before Logan Paul came out as a piece of shit. I mean, yeah,
he's been in the closet for
years.
He's
been a closet piece of shit for years.
All right, guys, I'm a piece of shit. Yeah.
What's up, guys? I need to make a YouTube apology. I have been a closeted piece of shit.
I made a severe lapse in judgment.
And closing on the MrBeast thing, I don't watch him now because I'm at a stage where, like, I'm almost keeping my kids away from watching him too. And it's not because I feel like the themes are going to spill through into his videos. It's because morally and ethically, as someone who creates content, I don't feel like if there were allegations brought against me, not that I would ever do anything out of the ordinary when it comes to being like, a proper stand-up gentleman. Like, I'm not here to mince words or, there's no adultery, there's no this, that, and whatever. But if allegations were brought against me, like Cody Ko, I feel has done the right thing in that respect, where he's just gone, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on here. I don't really have an answer right now. And he's taken a full step back. And dude's made enough money from YouTube. He's going to make enough money in residual views. He's got a kid now and a wife. He's running marathons. He's living his life. He's doing his own thing. I don't feel like there's going to be much of a comeback on the books for him.
Yeah, that one's a bit tougher to swallow, only because so nothing's been said, and I watched the first Team G podcast that came out after Cody Ko had stepped back from that, and because Noah Miller starts with, "Hey guys, I know you want to know what's going on, in my opinion," and then he's basically like, "I can't say anything." So what I gather from that is that Cody's kind of gathering his, I guess, receipts and getting, I don't know, some sort of like
defense,
some sort of like legal advice around the whole situation. While also raising a child. So
and look,
but yeah,
like all power to like Tana Mongoose as well. She is one of those people who you can't victim blame in this situation because it involves SA. So you can't sit there and be like, oh, but she's lied in the past. That doesn't matter. Like the short and long of the fact is that, like this situation has happened. Although there are states in America where it's okay, overall it's probably not okay. In the grand scheme of things, it's not okay. Obviously, it's 16 years old here in New Zealand. And I can be an advocate for the fact that, things happen before that age also. For context, I have way too many kids and I'm not even that old yet. But other places like the States and there's actually quite a few countries where it's not any younger than 18, eh? Like it's pretty strict. But I don't think it's the location that's the problem. I think it was the fact that it came from the narrative. It sounds consensual on both sides, but that doesn't remove the fact that it's still statutory. So there's a lot of Cody's got to tread very, very carefully with what he says and does from here on out. Yeah,
because there was also like apparently during that time she was also I would say I guess not. Well, I don't really know the full story, but allegedly she was also sleeping around with other dudes at that age as well. So, and her credibility has also taken a bit of a hit recently with her co-host Brooke. Some old stuff resurfaced from her being apparently like using the N-word quite liberally.
Oh yeah,
which is quite hypocritical coming from Tana because she's literally recorded herself saying all those words in the past.
Yeah.
And then apparently something came out that she is trying to, basically be an agent for OnlyFans models, but take like a 50% cut of what they earn or something like that. So
50%
I'm not
is
like
a lot.
yeah. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if these are all true, but that's what I've heard through the grapevine.
Yeah, but then it boils down again to like if you're looking at both sides and one side hasn't said anything, it comes across as victim blaming, sitting here being like, oh, Tanner shouldn't have done this and Tanner shouldn't have done that. In the grand scheme of things, it's almost better not to speak on it, because until Cody says something, it's almost impossible to have a grounded opinion. It's just from what we've seen and from what people have spoken about on YouTube, which unfortunately isn't always credible either. Like a lot of it's very opinion based.
It's always he said, she said.
Yeah. All right. So I mean,
we
the
need
last
both
thing,
sides of the story.
we do need both sides of the story. The last thing I had for the social media side was there's two things actually. So Twitter's been banned in Brazil. Like that's wild. And it's because Elon Musk argued with the Supreme Court, and they were just like, you know what? Your app's not welcome here.
Yeah.
I don't know how Brazil's going to get along without bullying Casemiro and Anthony, because that seems to be all they do. And
yeah,
Brazilian OnlyFans models are going to have to go to Reddit to promote themselves.
I mean, they were probably already there anyway, so.
Yeah, and I mean, TikTok's not banned, and that kind of seems to be the go-to. I was actually... I was on live last night on TikTok, and I was building Lego because, unfortunately, I'm not an attractive woman in my mid-20s. So I was building Lego on TikTok. I know I'm trying real hard to be a good-looking woman in her 20s, but it kind of... I could identify as that. Whether or not people would actually watch the content is a whole different story. But I feel like... I feel like there's a level to it where because there's so much fierce competition, it almost feels refreshing and original to be making Lego sets on TikTok live stream, because if I'm not being one of those creepy, horrid people that are like shaking their cup, being like, make sure to gift, guys, make sure to share the live, guys. Yeah. Like,
thanks for the roses.
Yeah, thanks for the roses. Donuts. Yeah. Like, and do the AI thing, the NPC thing. I do it because I want to connect with my audience, and I want to share, like secrets, tips and tricks on how to get bigger in social media and stuff. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job of doing that by going on live and stuff. But there's definitely that element of like, if I were to watch lives, which I don't because it's horrendous behavior on most sides. But whenever you scroll, there is every second or third video, there'll be like a group of rednecks having a conversation about something where they're all yelling over top of each other. There'll be someone doing the cup shaking thing, being like, hey guys, we're going to join this battle soon. Make sure you gift lots and yada, yada, yada. All power to them. Get that bag. Like, you're obviously making a lot of money by, shaking that cup on TikTok live. But then there's chicks on TikTok that are like being borderline cam girls. Like, looking into the camera, scantily clad, etc. Thanks for gifting, baby. Like, and it's very much that sort of similar vibe. But we're getting to such a dystopian part of society now, where the NPC thing was such a huge shift in that landscape, where people are like, oh, this is really funny, or it's objectively interesting, or you can control the movements of a certain person. There was that terrible movie, the Scottish actor, what's his name? He was Leonidas in 300.
Are you talking about Gamer?
I am talking about Gamer, yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
it feels like that's that dystopian future we're getting to, where like this sort of NPC it critically it was really bad, but like I think
Yeah.
subjectively it could be a really good movie. But we're
Yeah.
getting to that point where that NPC live crossover with something like Neuralink, going back to the Elon Musk thing. If
Yeah.
Neuralink gets to a point where like it's voluntary or involuntary and people start getting them in their necks and they get corrupted, and then all of a sudden we've got a gamer situation, like where it's real
Mm.
live avatars being controlled through these like NPC live streams and stuff.
Yeah.
It feels dystopian, but it almost feels like it's just within our grasp as well, which is really scary.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I
in
know I'm
some
not going to get
ways,
the Neuralink.
no, I'm not going to get it either. Like, I
Yeah.
think there are positive qualities to it. Obviously, for like people with paralysis or people that were born with without the use of certain extremities. I get why
Yeah.
that would be awesome. But yeah, for simple things like I need to be able to calculate stuff in my head really quick. Don't like it's a one-way ticket
Yeah.
to just having your brain in someone else's server for like the rest of your life.
You've got a calculator on your phone if you need to calculate anything super quick,
Yeah.
Like
And
that's what it's, yeah.
if you're that desperate to tweet, just pull out your phone. Like don't
Yeah.
everyone like he wants everyone to call it X and no one's going to call it X. Not a single person. It's still called Twitter. It's
Well, 'cause
colloquially known as Twitter.
there was a really interesting video about Elon Musk and how like X.com was originally, I believe it was like what he had was like it was like a secondhand selling website was what X.com was originally. So he's always had that URL,
Oh.
but it's never like he's had it for like 20, 30 years, but it was originally, I think it was like a secondary, it was like a site for selling secondhand goods, or it was some sort of like PayPal initial PayPal website. Because fun fact, he didn't actually invent PayPal.
No.
He was just he was just one of the guys that helped out, and then they kicked him out because he,
Yeah.
I don't know, probably had too many gemstones in his pocket or something.
To his credit, he got bought out. Like that's where his money started. And it was clearly enough to get a hair transplant.
He's always been well off. He's always been well off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no question there.
Yeah.
So moving on from X/Twitter, the only other thing I had for social media was that the Democratic Party in the States are starting a Twitch channel. Like Kamala Harris is going to have like a Twitch channel for, I think it's just for rallies. I think it's just for like live streaming rallies and stuff, because the Democratic convention went really well, apparently. Obviously, everyone was expecting like Beyonce or Taylor Swift to turn up, and they got Lil Jon. So like that was their special guest. But there was that much demand for a live stream that they've taken to apparently they're moving to Twitch. So I'm expecting to see like Kamala Harris personally, headset, PS5 controller, Fortnite dubs, like dub season for the Democratic Party. Yeah.
Yeah. Or she's like she's like one of those like just chatting streamers,
Yeah.
Or she does like IRL live streams. She's like she'll be like the presidential nominee version of Ice Poseidon.
Yeah.
She just goes around.
just does
She
IRL
just goes around
live
and
streams.
gets swatted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
IRL live streams. It's like, hey guys, today I'm going to speed run becoming the president of the United States. Today is obviously election day, so
80% completion. Yeah.
80% completion's fine. And yeah, so chat, what's going on? Who's out there voting today, chat? Like, I feel like it could get really
thanks
wild.
for the 3 months.
Yeah, who's giving subs? Oh man, you didn't have to do that. I am backed by oil companies, my guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Ninja, thanks for the raid.
There's so many people in this stream now. That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all I had for the social media side. I didn't have anything for gaming. Did you have anything for gaming?
Oh well, there was this game called Concord, which was like I believe it was a Sony game. It was like a hero looter shooter that only made like $1 million off like a probably 100% increased budget on that, and
Yeah.
it was just awful. It only sold like several thousand units, and they shut it down after 2 weeks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it didn't go well. There was the Wukong Black Myth video game. I think that's
Is
huge.
that that's the first Chinese the first Chinese developed game, right? Like solely developed in China. Because Israel Adesanya was
probably.
playing it on, I don't think he was streaming it, but he chucked up an IG story of him playing it, and I watched a little bit of the gameplay, and it looks so wild, bro.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Izzy Adesanya, did you watch him nearly get in a fight in Auckland?
Yeah, and this is like, so he
that guy's
got someone to
squaring
call the
up to a
cops.
former middleweight champion.
Oh, bro, and future middleweight champion for the third time. I'm sure he's going to come back, but like you could see it like he himself was like, because you don't know how volatile people are going to be in a controlled environment. When you're in the octagon and you're about to have a fight, you know that you're there for a fight. And he pulled up in his McLaren and stuff, and this clown comes up and starts mouthing off at him and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to back down and be a pussy, but I'm also not going to like get into a street fight with you. Like, I don't know you, and I could seriously mess your shit up, but I also kind of need to feel safe. And it does irk me that people are doing this to him here. Like in the States, I can understand where people get too big for their boots in the States. But for someone to go out of their way on K Road, I mean, K Road's got a terrible reputation anyway, but for someone to go out of their way on K Road to go up to Israel Adesanya, like one of the biggest like sources of pride for this country, because the All Blacks are shithouse. So, we kind of have to look to other places, right? Izzy is one of those places that we look to. Yeah, currently shithouse. So we look to Izzy for that sort of inspiration. And for some clown to go up to him and just be like, oh, bro, I reckon I could beat you in a fight. It's like, bro, can you go away? Like, he literally was getting a pie after training. That's what he was doing. He stopped on K Road to get a pie in his McLaren, and some guy was just like, oh, I'm going to scrap you out. What a dick.
Yeah.
What a chode.
Yeah,
like,
but that's like part of the New Zealand culture, really. It's people thinking that they can take on anyone,
Yeah, but there's the tall poppy syndrome too. Like, why do you get millions of dollars and you get to live in Auckland, and I am, like skating by on the bones of my ass? It's like, but what you don't see is the iceberg beneath the ocean, like, beneath the surface, where Izzy's put in like 20 years of training, and he's been beaten so many times, and he's gone through body conditioning and all these kinds of things that make him an elite athlete, an elite fighter. Only for some dude in like, and this dude in the video was still wearing skinny jeans in 2024. Grow up, my guy. Like, that's the first, if you're watching this by some miracle and you've come across it, sort yourself out for a start. Stop wearing skinny jeans. It's 2024.
Subscribe. First of all,
subscribe though. Like, that's, first of all, subscribe. Second of all, go to the warehouse, get yourself some not so skinny jeans. Yeah, I don't know. It just that kind of pissed me off, that video. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel like Izzy handled it the right way. Like, he just got to stand passerby to like call the cops and filed a statement and stuff. Like, he did the right thing, because he's damned if he he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. Like, if he scraps the guy and kicks the ever loving shit out of him, folds him up into a pretzel or whatever, he's gonna get in trouble, right? And if he engages in this fight and this random civilian kicks the shit out of him, he's never going to be forgiven. So, like, what's the end game? Like, he basically did exactly what he was supposed to do in that situation. I commend him for it, I do. But anyway, Wukong.
Yeah, Wukong I haven't played it because it's, firstly, I'm poor, so I can't really afford it. And I'm not actually sure if it's on console currently. Because if it's on PC, I don't have a PC beefy enough to run it.
Izzy was playing it on console. I just don't know what controller he had.
Probably PS5 then.
Worth his salt. He should be playing PS5 like a real gamer.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an Xbox, but that's like, like they've got, because the Game Pass has like probably a wider selection of games, I'd say, than the PlayStation catalog does.
Yeah.
Especially like classic games. because you can get like PS2 games on the PlayStation catalog, but you can't get like all the good ones. It's always like the real oddball ones that like Jack and Daxter obviously is going to be on there, but like, you know, I want to play Family Go Back to the Multiverse, and that's not anywhere.
Like
not that I'm
I
better about it.
I searched for Simpsons Hit and Run the other day. They don't have it, but they have Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5
Yeah, they'll
like
have
final
all
mix.
like the
Anyone listening, if you want to join the Oosh Brothers podcast as a financial backer, we would really appreciate your time and money. We need to need to seriously sort out how to fix this.
Yeah, I'll throw it back for some sponsorship money. That's for sure.
Absolutely, for a real one, 100%.
100% for a real one.
So leaving where we were, I have a lot of music news. Like that was one of the biggest things for this week. First of all, big RIP to Rich Homie Quan. Like
big RIP.
I mean, dude had a catalog and he was a great feature artist. I personally understood about 3 to 4 words of everything he rapped / sang.
Yeah.
But like his feature on Lil Dicky's Save That Money, absolutely slaps.
So I'm live.
Lil Dicky. I was like, Rich Homie. I was like, when did you see Rich Homie Quan?
I wish.
But yeah, like, and it's another overdose. It's another case of overdose. I don't know what he overdosed on, and I don't really want to hazard a guess either because it's a pretty horrible time for everybody involved, obviously. So just a big RIP to Rich Homie Quan, really. Linkin Park has a new lead singer. I don't know if that means anything to you. A female.
A female.
Yes.
I saw a clip of it, and I don't know. Like it's like it's gonna be. I mean, maybe the newer fans of Linkin Park will like appreciate it, but like listening to it, it's like it just doesn't sound like Linkin Park. It just sounds like a Linkin Park cover band. You know what I mean?
See, I'm taking an opposite stance there because I loved it.
Oh.
Linkin Park chucked up a live video, and I was listening to it, and you know, like as a vocalist myself, you know, just to beat off on camera, but as a vocalist myself, I could hear. Well, that's subscribe to the OnlyFans. This is how we pay for the podcast. But
I'm not a part of the OnlyFans. Yeah, I'll support you, but I'm not going to watch. For sure. That's what I'll say. Yeah.
But yeah, so I could hear that she was nervous. I could hear that she was being a little bit withdrawn. But then, like everyone singing along at the pub, when she got to the chorus, she found her confidence a little bit. You know, it gets to the big crawling in my skin, but it's like, you know, she was 100% there for it.
Why did you go for the Blink-182?
I just went California. I didn't know what else
crawling to do. In my skin.
Where are you?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like she's going to be a really good fit. She's got a mad scream on her. She's definitely a fantastic vocalist anyway. So I feel like she's a good fit. One of their guitarists is a little bit reserved about the whole thing. Like he doesn't want to go touring with them live, but he's happy to work out with them in the studio. So I don't know how to read that. I don't know how to take that. And I'm not sure if, you know, like if there's any sort of like ill feeling within the band or whatever. But from where I'm sitting, I feel like she was a good choice. They were going to get the guy from, is it Sum 41 or one of those early...
I don't know his name, but that Ginger dude, that was Ginger, the lead singer. I don't know his name, but I only know like 2 of their songs.
Spiky hair. He looks like a cartoon character because his nose is a weird shape. He looks like he was drawn. That's how I've been describing people recently. Like if they have a big nose or like distinct features, they look like they're drawn.
Yeah, I still can't believe I saw someone on the bus a couple weeks ago that looked exactly like Jasper and Horace from 101 Dalmatians. With a huge nose.
Yeah.
And it was rough. I said my prayers. I'll say that. I said, you know, please, our Lord and Savior Taylor Swift, bless this person,
Bless them.
but they
And
bless them with a nose that hogs up all the cocaine,
Yeah. They bless them with their 100 Dalmatians foundations.
Nice.
May they
nice.
find peace with their huge schnozzes.
Yeah.
Speaking of our Lord and Savior T Swift, some documents leaked this week. I don't know if you saw those. Someone posted them up. They were
is this
official,
about
the Kansas Chiefs documents about how
that was all
how
forged?
Travis Kelce. Oh, was it? Has it been proven to be forged?
Yeah, it's absolutely, it was forged because it was like saying it was like a whole PR relationship.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. But like, apparently all the documents were forged because they're still together. Like, there's still been recent photos of them come up. I mean, I have a resident Taylor Swift expert at hand.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
My source has informed me that
Yeah.
it was all forged and fake, and that they're still together. And like, and my source brought up a good point, that it was like being a PR relationship. It would be good for like Travis Kelce and the NFL, but like it wouldn't really benefit Taylor Swift because she's already effectively currently the music industry. Like, she's bringing in the big bucks, going on billion-dollar world tours.
Yeah, she is the Beatles of our time. Which
Elton John said that.
Out loud.
Elton John said that. Elton John said
okay.
he hasn't seen anything like Taylor Swift since the Beatles, and I can understand that because
the hysteria.
like, I mean, yeah, like the Beatles getting off the plane in America screaming, the Shea Stadium screaming, and she gets people screaming at every concert she plays at, and it's really funny to watch.
Concerts. Yeah, have you seen those clips where chicks sit outside and just cry?
Yeah, that
like,
one
that
really
fandom
cringe
is
clip
wild, bro.
Yeah, that one really cringe clip of that woman who, like, one of her songs plays and she's sitting outside and then she just scream cries. It's like, firstly, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
I cried at the Foo Fighters concert, but I didn't scream cry outside the stadium. I cried and then lost my voice singing with the boys.
Yeah, I did the same. That was a weird gig for me, actually, because I found those tickets on Facebook Marketplace 2 hours before the show for $70.
Nice. $70.
$70. I could have gone and got myself a slab of piss and a pack of Winnie Blues, but I chose to go to the Foo Fighters.
Good Foo Fighters, yeah.
It was one of those life comes at you fast moments, like where 2 hours ago I was sitting on my deck enjoying a cold one, and then 2 hours later I was 3 rows from the front watching Dave Grohl do his thing, and it was just like, it was kind of surreal where the universe was just like, hey, I heard you like serendipity. How about a little spritz of that on this fine Saturday evening? So like that was a wicked show. That was fantastic. I can see why you cried, because I got a little bit misty myself towards the end there.
It was like, just like at best of you, I was almost sobbing. I'll be honest, because like they've been my favorite rock band ever.
Outside of the Dead Zephyrs, of course.
Well, obviously,
Yeah, just putting it out there. Shameless.
Well, you'd be number one if Mr. Harriman was released, but I'm not going to say anything further on that.
Talk to Chris about this. I've been trying.
I have. I don't know why he doesn't want to do it, but hurry up. There's only 2 songs on Spotify, or 3, but
There's
2
3.
new songs. Yeah, so why not 4?
Well,
give me Mr. Harriman.
Question.
Yeah.
Look. Speaking of rock royalty, the other thing we obviously have to touch on is Oasis getting back together.
Yeah, I don't like Oasis.
See, this is the thing that I've been speaking to a lot of people about. There are a lot of people in New Zealand especially that cannot stand Oasis. And
yeah, because I listened to them, was it Morning Glory, that album?
Yeah, what's the story, Morning Glory? Yeah, this is soft.
Yeah,
album.
and there's like, I don't know, like maybe that's like their most well-known and popular album, because it's got like Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got some heavy hitters on it for sure. That's the most successful album.
But I don't like them for a few reasons. One, they're not as good as Blur, in my humble opinion.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
It's like Blur they're just much easier to listen to. 2, they claim to be Man City supporters, but they live in London. And so we're both Man United supporters, We live in New
And we live in
Zealand, but
New
that's
Zealand.
no, but that's like we grew up as Man United supporters, but like we are unable to go to the stadium to go and watch a game live, whereas they live in the same country and yet they don't
Oh,
live in
yeah,
the
I see.
Manchester area.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it's like, you know, if you're gonna live in England and live in London, go and watch West Ham or Chelsea. Don't support Man City, you plastic fans. Um,
To be fair, for Noel Gallagher, I don't know about Liam, but for Noel, he is actually on the board at Man City. Like he bleeds blue, and all power to him. Your club is your club. I don't know about Liam. I don't think he gives a shit about anything. So like it's really hard to make a call there. For me, again, I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum because I love Oasis and I've loved Oasis for a long time. Like my first foray, and it kind of feels a little bit weird to say this, but my first foray was playing Some Might Say on
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. Yeah, because we had
Yeah,
Guitar Hero World Tour as kids, and we had the full band setup. So it was me, you, and our stepbrother and stepsister playing Some Might Say, and then as soon as
that was on Rock Band though.
oh, was that Rock Band?
Yeah, Guitar Hero was just Guitar Hero World Tour. That was just us.
Yeah.
Rock
Oh,
Band
was it
because we
just
had
us?
the
Okay.
drum. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay. So I've got myself mixed up there, but like I knew it was one of these, console type games, but some might say led me into, and then obviously everyone makes fun of Wonderwall, and for good reason because it's it was a banger, but it's one of those things that if you hear it too many times, it becomes Nickelback, for the wrong reasons, and not that there's a right reason for Nickelback, but that's besides the point. Bro, Creed's
I
coming
probably
back into popularity
yeah
as well.
yeah
No, I
yeah
just had to get that thought out of my head.
yeah. Creed I can understand because like
Yeah,
um they're probably more of a slow burner, like what was his name? What's the lead singer's name?
Scott Stapp.
Scott Stapp, yeah, with his like just that voice of like it's
Yeah,
just so different to everything else. But it's like you see all those reels now. It's like where you open a beer with the like I'll call one with the boys, then with arms wide open plays, and it's like
yeah.
that's just white boy shit right there. That's what us
Well,
white boys do.
I feel like the turning point there was like people were making these TikToks where it was and they've been doing it to Nickelback as well. So I don't know if there's going to be a resurgence of that, but they use Creed songs and Nickelback songs. It's like, oh, why are you listening to this? This is so trash. Excuse me for a second. I got to go to the bathroom. And then they go into the bathroom and close the door and they start like passionately singing the song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So,
I
yeah, yeah. So I feel like that's been a
Yeah,
turning point for them.
yeah. But yeah, long story short, I just don't like Oasis. I think they're a bit overrated in my opinion. They had like 4 good songs off that album. And yeah, I don't know. They're just not my cup of tea, really.
And that's fair.
And they're
Like,
also charging like 180 squid for their tickets.
yeah, but I mean,
180 quid.
Lewis Capaldi came here and charged like $230. And where's that guy?
Yeah, but
Where's that
180
motherfucker?
quid, that's like
Twitch
what,
and something.
$350? 350 New Zealand dollars to go and see the Oasis reunion only for 10 minutes into the concert for Liam and Noel to start fighting again. Like, come
Yeah,
on now.
actually, sound. No, that makes a lot of sense. Like for me, I'm going to the last ever Blues Fest next year, and those tickets are $500 a pop. But that's 5 days worth of music
Oh
from
yeah, but
like
that's
over
like
100 artists. Like
yeah.
that's kind of if you put it into perspective like that, $350 for a potential concert is probably a
Yeah.
bit of an issue.
Yeah, like and especially with Blues Fest, if you apply Girl Math to that, you're basically going to see like some of the bigger artists for $10.
Oh,
You know?
dude, yeah, like the girl math I put to 2016, I essentially saw Brian Wilson and Al Jardine from the Beach Boys play the entire Pet Sounds album from start to finish for like $25 because of how many artists
Exactly.
I saw. Bro, I got to cry
Exactly.
while listening to Brian Wilson himself play one of my
Yeah.
favorite songs of all time. Girl Math was mathing, and I just
Yeah.
there was a man in an Eagles shirt who embraced me because I was there by myself, and I cried into that man's shoulder. And
Yeah.
and
You
I
shared a
yeah,
moment.
it's bro, it's a core memory now. If I
Yeah.
ever bump into that guy again, I know exactly who he is. So I'm hoping he's at the festival. I want to buy him a beer. If by chance you're listening, firstly subscribe. and then
Yeah.
meet me at Blues Fest. I'll buy you a bevy. Moving on to film, if we can make the jump, there was two things. First thing, Michael Keaton has decided to reclaim his name. He's going back to Michael Douglas.
Good. Good.
Yeah, which is great. And like do like whatever your truth is, absolutely head that up, because I think retrospectively, if he was ever going to, because the only reason he didn't do it in the first place was like, oh, I don't want people getting confused that like I'm Michael Douglas and he's also Michael Douglas. And then you look at it in hindsight, it's like people of this generation have no idea who Michael Douglas is. But I know exactly
I don't think that guy
who
even
the
acts
Vulture
anymore.
was. Nah, probably not. But like,
Yeah.
I know exactly who the Vulture was. I know who played
Birdman.
Ray Kroc. Birdman as well. Like, he came
So
back
weird.
as Batman and uttered his famous "Let's get nuts" line in the Flash movie. Like he's
Super
been in the
average movie.
very average, but he's been consistently in the zeitgeist since like 1989. So
Beetlejuice.
you know,
Beetlejuice,
but
Beetlejuice.
dude, he was Beetlejuice, and like and
Yeah.
that's just come out as well.
Yeah. I haven't watched it. I'm poor,
No,
so that's why.
Yeah, I'll be torrenting that.
Yeah.
I watched The Fifth Element again last night or the night before. Not for me, dude.
Doesn't. Yeah.
Mila Djokovic is
What
hot, absolutely, but
yeah.
it's one of my wife's favorite movies. So I kind of like I torrented it legally, of course. Atlanta Falcons. And
Yeah.
and we watched it, and I was sitting there and I was like doing the whole like,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna watch sci-fi, I'm gonna watch sci-fi. You know what I mean? I'm gonna watch Alien versus Predator. I'm gonna watch Star Wars. I'm going to watch something with substance. I'm not going to sit there and watch
John
Bruce
Carter.
Willis lust over John Carter. I'm not going to sit there and watch Bruce Willis lust over Mila Djokovic when she can only say 3 words and has the intellect of like a 5-year-old. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. So
that's probably what like the general consensus of men was, like thinking that's the perfect woman. Like, oh, this hot chick that can't say any words and will just do everything for me. Oh, sign me up, please and thanks.
Sign me up, daddy.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Speaking of daddy, right? Okay. There's another movie. I'm not sure what company brought it out. I don't know. It sounds like an A24 film to me. Just putting it out there. Abraham Lincoln is being depicted in a movie called Lover of Men, where they explore
That's an American
his
Dad
potential...
episode.
Oh, really? Because so there's always
Season
been like
3.
speculation that he was gay, right? There's always been speculation that he was gay. I don't know
there's
how
probably
recent
speculation
this
for
movie is.
every president that's gay.
Oh, bro, there's speculation for every man post like pre 1960s. There's speculation for every man that was like,
that's insane. That's an American
he might
Dad
have been
episode.
a fan of the penis. It was so. What was the?
It was in season 3. It was basically so like it started out with Steve and Stan going to like a Republican convention, and them trying to sort of go back to the Republican roots of of the party, and then be like, this is what it was raised on. So then Stan writes a play called Lincoln's Lover, I'm pretty sure it's called, where he talks about his bodyguard, and how like. Like it's very homoerotic, the whole play. It's like there's a scene where he's like chopping wood and he's like they're kind of like helping him with the wood. He's like, my God, your muscles, and then it kind of keeps going, and then the audience becomes more like filled with more homosexual dudes watching the play, and then it turns out that it's actually got one of my favorite songs of the whole American Dad series in that episode, and it's basically like there's like the Republican Party of homosexuals that like want Stan to speak at their wants Stan to speak for them at the Republican National Convention. Those bastards stole from season 3 of American Dad. It's a great episode.
This is
too.
like I love American Dad because a lot of what they did was very thinly veiled like flaws of Americans just in general. So like there was an episode
Yeah.
that keeps getting played a lot recently where like one half of Stan is Uncle Sam and the other half of Sam
Yeah.
is the Israel flag. And they're
Yeah,
like, you know, he's
yeah.
turning from side to side, making out with himself kind of thing.
Well,
And
I
there's
want
all
you,
of these.
baby.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like,
Yeah.
there's very thinly veiled, like,
Great episode.
hey, America, you probably shouldn't be doing these things. And then America's
Yeah.
just like, nah, it'll be fine. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's,
Especially in later seasons, I always preferred American Dad to Family Guy because I felt like American Dad became a much more organic show. Like all the jokes were, you know, they were well written, they were like well acted. My favorite episode is season 7, episode 1. It's called Hot Water, I think, and it's about Stan buying a hot tub that's sentient and is voiced by CeeLo Green, and it's
Yes,
like
I've seen
sings to
that.
him. Yeah, and it's it's definitely my favorite episode because it's just fucking awesome because it's just like so out of left field for what American Dad usually is, but it just fits so well in the zeitgeist, if you will.
Yeah. No, I know. I fully get that. I've been trying to get back into, like, when I get the TV to myself, which is not very often, but if I'm not watching football, I will try and watch, you know, something in the realm of Family Guy or something that I'm not normally like in the company of someone who wants to watch that something. So I tried to get back into Family Guy. I tried to watch like recent seasons and stuff. And it's like, you know, like the epic movies and that type of like gross out humor, and they're trying to do less slapstick and more like pointed jokes.
More cutaways.
And the same, more cutaways, and they're trying to, like, it's hard to put it into perspective. The South Park creators, they put it really well, where it was like you can't just pepper in stuff and expect people to be like, oh, that's funny. What's the next thing that's funny? Like, you should have, your storytelling should be better than that. And they're very vocal about the fact that Family Guy's writers suck. So, and it kind of, it took for me to take a huge break from that sort of television and go away and do some learning about my own writing and my own, you know, like scripting and that kind of stuff, and then come back and realize how lazy it actually is. Like, haha, pop culture reference. It doesn't mean anything to the scheme of the story. It just it's silly, but it's not. Python silly either.
Yeah, that's why I've always, especially recently, just preferred American Dad because they don't. Yes, they'll be influenced by pop culture and modern happenings, but it's never the crux of the show. It's always, you know, it's always a part of it. You know, there's always something else going on.
Like early doors when we first started watching it, the Conway Twitty cutaways used to make me so angry. Like, because a full 2.5 to 3 minutes of the show would be Conway Twitty playing a song. If you know, it's not funny, like it's not that's subjectively it's funny to watch other people squirm because it's not funny.
Yeah,
but
I'm just hearing Conway Twitty now.
Yeah, but if you're a casual watcher and you're sitting there going, what is this? What have I bumped into?
I see a sparkling little diamond.
But yes, indeed. So that's all I had notes wise. To be honest with you, that was kind of where I was at with it. I'm sure some more stuff happened this week. For me, I think the biggest thing was probably the Nikocado Avocado thing. Like circling back to that, that was probably the biggest shock for me this week.
I actually had quite a random thought. Quite a random thought because as you know, I've been in Wellington now for the past close to it's like 3.5 months. Wellington, and I've come up with somewhat of a theory about the pigeons here. Right? Do you think pigeons often forget they can fly?
Yeah, because if you are walking behind them, they start to just speed up, but they never officially take off.
Yeah,
I've never
just like
on
power. No. Because like they'll move out of the way at the last instance, like, oh, that's right, I've got wings. But like up until that point, they're just like speed walking with their necks going super fast. Like it's like walking to the bus in the morning. It's like they don't tend to get out of the way until it's like it's like watching Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade with the ball chasing him. That's exactly what it's like for a pigeon. They can only get away at the last second.
I feel like they've been given like a pass. You know what I mean? Like you sort of get like a man pass or or an N-word pass from your fellow Americans. But it's like not that either of us are American. I'm not really sure why I said that, but
No.
I feel like pigeons got given a pass because during the First and Second World Wars they were like so utilized,
Yeah.
like for messages and whatever else. And the homing pigeons are incredibly intelligent creatures,
Yeah.
and genetically they're the same as regular pigeons. It's not like it's a different breed of pigeon. It's just a pigeon. So like I feel like they were given that pass of like, okay, the war's over, you're allowed to just do whatever you want. And they chose to be dumb, live in cities, and crap everywhere. So like it's
Yeah. I mean, they're super chill. We get some that fly up on the balcony that try to come in.
oh true.
Yeah, they'll just go up to the door like, "Oh, I see you putting your shoes on." They try to come in the morning. I'm like, "No, it's not the right time. You can come in later when I'm not here."
Yeah.
But yeah,
By all means,
so,
pop by. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're super chill. I got nothing against them. I always find it quite funny that they decide not to fly away when there's like someone walking at a faster pace directly behind them, or like when they cross in front of you.
It's almost like they have that that de-evolutionary side of it as well. Like they don't have any like predators here, so like obviously people kick them or whatever. If you're a heartless piece of shit, like you'll obviously have a go at a bird or whatever, because you're real cool. But they have no actual like natural predators here in New Zealand outside of like feral cats, which you don't get a lot of in a city centre. So there's almost like a de-evolutionary aspect to it where people are just like quokkas in Western Australia, those little marsupial things that they have no natural
like
predators,
no predators
whatsoever.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a picture with them, they are more than happy to rock up and like hang out with you, and they'll smile for the camera, and like they're adorable as hell. Obviously pigeons are disease infested, and you shouldn't try and take a selfie with a pigeon, but like they only feel like you're invading their space when you either get too close or you go to grab them or whatever, and then they bugger off. But like, yeah, I feel like there's a certain element to pigeons where either they completely forget that they're allowed to just fly whenever they want, or they just don't feel threatened anymore.
Yeah, they're just cruising down the main on Manners or Willis Street,
Yeah,
But that, like, yeah,
just
that's that. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was quite random that they'd always just decide to walk in front of me.
Well, I mean, that brings us to roughly an hour, man. I feel like this has been a pretty good debut episode of the Oosh Brothers podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can say that all of those things made me say oosh. Like whether it be a sad oosh or a happy oosh, like R.I.P. to Rich Homie Quan, that was more like a oosh. Like it's not a happy oosh.
A mindful oosh. Yeah.
A mindful oosh. Very demure. Very oosh. Yeah.
There's a coffee shop down the road, just quickly, that they've written morning coffee, very demure, very whatever else the other word is, and it's like personally I don't understand it because I don't know what demure means, and B, I don't think I am demure. I don't identify as demure.
I might have the wrong definition, but I'm sure I Googled it at one stage after seeing it on being used over and over again on TikTok. It was just it was used a ridiculous amount of times. All right, I'm gonna put the description of demure in the description of this video.
Yeah.
But all things considered, go check us out. We are over on Instagram. I've just started a brand new Instagram for this podcast. I have repurposed an old TikTok for this podcast as well.
Nice.
So we're going to have a Spotify channel, a TikTok, and an Instagram to start us off. I don't think I'll make a Facebook page. Outside of our socials, which is it's just going to be the Oosh Brothers Pod on every platform. You can jump over to my socials. I'm BB Malloy everywhere online. It's normally BB_Malloy. And you don't fall for the fake accounts. There's a lot of them. They'll ask you to WhatsApp message them. Trust me, I won't ask you to WhatsApp message me because that's just weird as hell. But yeah, go jump on my socials. I got TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
Tell the people your handles as well.
New channel. It's called Louis Narrative Dissonance. Like Ludo Narrative Dissonance. I chuckled for a good minute when I figured that one out.
It's a very high IQ joke.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I am very demure. But so I'll be making some new content over there at some point in the very near future. But if not, go and check out all the stuff that's on Louis' Lounge. Which probably won't be used as much anymore. I might put something on there on the odd occasion, but all focus is going towards that. I've got some rehashing to do with some socials. So just check out Louis Narrative Dissonance in the time being.
Just follow along. Yeah. The links for all this will be down in the description. Make sure to like and subscribe at Urchi. Like we're just here making content. If you guys are keen on this, definitely come along for the ride.
Yeah.
We're just here to have fun. So we'll see how this goes. But I've got my sign off. You've got your sign off. So I'm just going to say peace and have a good day.
I'll just say stay golden. See you in the next one.